Good day everyone, welcome to this 20th episode of my project, and this episode is called TRAM 2.0. You could see features about the trams in episode 5 and 7, and feel free to check these out also. You find all the links in the description as always. So what is this TRAM 2.0? So far, the trams in my game could only travel or drive on the X and Z axes, so like these. And by the way, yes, I call the height axis Y. So someone suggested, and it was a great suggestion, that trams should be able to drive diagonal also, just like trains in the original Transport Tycoon game. If you are new to this channel, you may wonder why I mentioned Transport Tycoon, but this game, this project, is inspired by the original Transport Tycoon. But you see, this is in full 3D. So back to the trams and the diagonal ways. This is what TRAM 2.0 is in my game. I made it available for the trams to drive diagonal, but I also modified the previous features a little bit. For example, I removed the turn tiles because, of course, with a diagonal tile the result is the same and maybe it's even nicer. I also made it impossible to create those ugly 90-degree turns. I never did those, even if it was possible in Transport Tycoon. I just think that it doesn't look nice, so you simply can't create that in this game. And as you see, what seems like only 2 new diagonal ways for our tram is in fact 4 new tiles, because we enter these new tiles in different locations. And of course, you don't have to change between these 4 types of tiles, because the diagonal tram rail builder knows, based on your position, where to build the new tram rail. So this is similar to the single vertex level editor from episode 1, where the program also automatically knows which corner you are the closest to. And this is what happens here also. And that little red cone object helps you. I think it's easy, and it's almost just like in the original game. It brings back good memories. And of course, we can have 2 trams traveling next to each other.
One eternity later.
So as I told you, trams can drive next to each other. So it's actually 4 plus 2, so 6 new tiles. And as you see, I did not even include crossings yet. I plan to include that in, for example, TRAM 3.0, and as far as I count, that will be another 7 new tiles. So back to the rules for traveling with a tram. I changed that a little bit also, but the basics are the same. Every time a passenger enters the tram, he decides how many stations he wants to travel. The fee is the same because there is a ticket price for trams. Passengers can travel 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 stations. And if the passenger traveled that given number of stations, the passenger gets off the tram. But of course, if someone decides that he wants to travel, for example, 4 stations, but the route has only 3 stations, then when the passenger reaches its home station, so where the passenger entered the tram, he will get off the tram. And of course, as long as there are passengers on the tram cannot come home to its depot, for inspection or for other reasons. And how to set a route for a tram? You know, you cannot define a route for a tram because it drives on its own, and it drives around in a circular path, so passengers can get back to their home station. And to achieve this, and to know where the tram needs to drive, we have to monitor what the next tile is. You see it with green. What the current tile is, you see it with blue. And what the preview tile was, you see it with red. And we also need to check where the next turning point is, that little blue dot, and the distance between the turning point and our tram. And you see that with that white line above the tram. I always code these little maybe helping guides in my game because it is easier to find a bug and to analyze if something is not working well, at least for me. And I also like to draw everything on paper before I start to code something. For me, this way it is easier to implement a feature. And why does the tram shake? Because it looks nice. And of course it was easy to achieve. We just needed a sinus function, and with the help of the tram's current speed, with the next formula, we can adjust how often and how much the tram should shake. So I hope you liked this little video. Feel free to subscribe if you like what I do, and leave a comment if you have any suggestions or questions. Thank you, see you next time. Bye bye!